Is this thing on?
I think
I was gonna say this stuff is shit. This shit
I've
is
got.
shit.
Well, hey, I've managed to get it streaming on Instagram this time. I keep
Nice.
forgetting to press the button properly. It's like, then I go to the end of the show. It's like, oh, groovy. I like it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, literally boys and girls, because that's all that exists.
Um,
Boy and girls.
Sorry, I'm hedging my
There we go.
bets too early. Welcome to UCR Live Uncensored Radio's live recap of the last week of wonderful news, and you can tell what we're probably going to talk about tonight. But we're not going to get there yet.
I couldn't imagine what there is to talk about.
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all.
No.
We're just I'm home.
Yay!
I'm home. Literally days ago, I was with Vera in New York City, and now I'm back in Australia. And you, and you as well. But you were busy having a romantic, little rendezvous for your anniversary. How was your dinner, Christina? For the folks that don't know,
it was amazing. It was this place called Insignia. It's like this fancy. It's Insignia Prime Steak and Sushi. I don't eat sushi, so that wasn't an option. And it's funny because when the waiter came over, we're like, "Oh, it's our first time here." It's like one of those really fancy places where every meal is over $70. One of those and the atmosphere is just really pretty, and they do these kind of shows with these different appetizers and dinners. And he was saying, he's like, "Oh, we have a tomahawk steak for two." He goes, and the guy comes over with a kabuki sword and cuts it in front of the table. And I was like, "We're not fucking doing that." That was $189. He was like, "That's fucking insane." But I got the filet. We got this Wagyu beef appetizer where the guy heats it up on a stone at the table. That was really cool. And then they have this applewood smoked bacon that they smoke at the table with these torches, but we didn't do that either. But again, just and I had my first espresso martini, and that was amazing. Oh my gosh, so delicious. And then they and then we told them it was our anniversary, and they brought out a piece of cheesecake at the end with a little candle. So that was really cool. But
that's cute.
Yeah.
Nice. 6 years in the books.
So did Joe enjoy his first run-in with us crazies?
Oh my God, he loved it. Yeah. He loved it. He wants to go back up for New Year's.
There we go.
He's like, "How are we going to get your mom to watch the kids for New Year's?" I was like, "I don't know. I have no idea. Pump the brakes." She wouldn't even watch them overnight for my anniversary. So I had to get his aunt to watch the kids. Because I was like, I can't ask my mom again to watch these demons. There's no way. So.
She might forget to now on Christmas.
Yeah, I have to get her a really nice gift.
Time will help her forget. Time will help her forget.
Pedicure, hair.
Certificate to that steakhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should. Honestly, I should. And because my dad's birthday is January, so I could do a really big gift certificate.
Yeah.
So that they could go. That would be a good idea. That's a good
idea.
Vera.
Well, we forgot to even mention that we had a little Uncensored Radio Halloween party.
We did.
at UCR headquarters at Jeffrey's house.
Yes.
So it was a good time. It was fun. We all had fun, and then we were going to have a lovely. We took Jeff and I took the boys trick or treating after the broken foot of it all. So we took him trick or treating. Tyler tapped out after one street. God love him. He's like, "I'm done." I'm like, "Okay." So we took Gabe for the rest of the streets, and that kid had more candy than life. It was just like, "Oh, okay, cool." And we went back, and we were having just a quiet night. We were having a quiet night. And then Vera and Dia came over, and we had a quiet night and some drinks and chat. And then Vera and Dia going home. Okay, bye.
And Jeff comes running out of the house.
Jeffrey goes,
"Drop me off at the bar."
Should we go to the bar?
Oh yes.
Cut
I
to
got snacks that
3:30.
night.
Cut to 3:30 in the morning when we get back and find the McDonald's opened. I don't know how. And then
Why not?
I went to bed at 4 a.m. Got up at 8, and I was
No,
I
we
was
got
not
the
feeling
train.
I was not feeling very fresh for the train for New York City, but that's okay. We came good and had our meetings with Katrina and everything, and we saw Sunset Boulevard. If you
Yeah,
get a chance to see Sunset Boulevard on Broadway,
it's
kids.
great. Oh my
The
god.
Big
Vera,
Apple.
the
Oh,
Big
it's so
Apple,
good.
Vera. I converted Vera into a Nicole Scherzinger fan.
He
It's all
did.
good.
He did.
We had a little leisurely little weekend in New York City, and it was nice. And then I had to get home on a endless journey.
Ugh,
Yeah, it was long. It was long, and then my
oh,
niece got married yesterday, so it's been non-stop.
oh,
I know
congratulations.
it's been very busy week, and everyone's like, "How are you feeling?" I'm like, "I'm good." Until today, I'm like, "Oh my god, this is." Can jet lag wait a couple of days? Maybe I don't know. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? I don't know. Oh, the Halloween show is awesome. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was something very different.
Yeah.
If you didn't see our Halloween live, Anne and Renata from Frightfully Good, we did a little bit of a collaboration and had Jeff and Vera and Katie from UCR join us for a little bit of communication to the other side, and it was an interesting night, wasn't it,
Yeah,
Vera?
it was very interesting.
It was. There was
It
some
was fun.
very interesting moments, and it's all up on the channel. So if you want to go back and watch it, the live stream is all there. But yeah, it was good to have all of those people in the same room as well. It was just a very interesting week that we had. I think in general, that's the mission statement of the show. What an interesting week.
Yes.
Well, we can't really. Let's just do it. Hey, here we
Hot
go.
load of hot topics.
Well, since America has decided we're going back 4 years, I broke out the mum. Oh, nice. I was like, we'll team with the theme. If you have been living under a rock, you may not have heard about what they are labeling as the greatest political comeback of all time. Donald J. Trump will be, not is, will be the future president of the United States of America.
Looks like a chicken there.
I
Like a rooster.
think that looks like a vagina neck.
Silence. Look, I'm gonna step back for a hot minute because I have some feelings, but it's not my country. It's not my country. Now we very interestingly have both sides of the coin here tonight, which is good, which is what the show's about. So, Christina, it's all you to start with.
I mean, I'm happy. My father's happy. My family's happy. It's just, I know that a lot of people are not. I'm not here to put anybody down. I'm not here to say anything bad. Again, it was everybody's good on both sides.
Yeah.
to quote the future president. But yeah, it's just I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen with the economy. That's really what I'm looking forward to the most. And I know Prop 1 or whatever was passed over here, so they're going to be doing something about like clean water for the island. So I know that that's like a good thing. I'm excited. I want to see what changes are going to be made. So just looking forward. I'm optimistic. That's
optimistic. All. Okay, Vera.
I'm not so optimistic. I'm a little unhappy with the result, but it's a democracy, and sometimes your team loses.
Exactly.
You suck it up, and you live to fight again.
Yeah.
So,
very succinct.
Like, what I got to do.
Yeah.
What are my choices? To lay down and
Exactly.
cry,
Yeah.
or to just plan for?
Look, I think that everyone is entitled to feel however they want to feel. There is a lot of. It was really interesting being an outsider coming into the country and seeing so much of the country in that short time. I'm confused. Is the way I will put it, because the narratives that were being pushed weren't necessarily what unfolded, and I'm just very confused. First of all,
What do you
I
mean?
the whole electoral, like, different states getting different points and that, and like, oh my god,
Oh yeah,
just vote, just vote. Just
just
vote.
vote.
It should
Right.
be
I
the popular
agree. We
vote,
need to
and
do
he won the
away with
popular
the
vote.
electoral
Yeah,
college.
amazing.
Absolutely.
It's not like a Hillary
It's an
Clinton
archaic
situation.
system that was designed to give slave owners extra votes.
Like
No,
that,
yeah,
I
I
think
don't
that's
agree
part
with
of the
that at all.
problem.
I think it should be popular vote,
One man,
hands
one
down.
vote. Yep, that's how
Exactly.
I feel too.
I don't understand anything else other than it should just be the people voting for the person. That I don't
And
understand.
I
just
will
One
explain
city.
it if you want me to, but nobody listens to me.
But this is the thing. I don't even think the people that live in the country necessarily understand how the system works.
I will explain it if you'd like.
Explain it, because I need a little
The
Educate.
Electoral
refresher. It's been
College
a
came
while.
about in the early 1800s when parts of the state were run by slave owners. Parts of the country were run by slave owning states who had less population because they were agricultural, and the industrial northern states, which had larger populations because they had tons of immigrants coming in to help fuel the industrial revolution. And the southern states said, hey, this is unfair to us. You will always win an election. We need to equalize this. So they came up with what was called the Three-Fifths Compromise, where those southern states could count the slaves as a person. So for every five slaves, they could count it as three people. And that increased their numbers, and that weighted their vote, so they couldn't be outnumbered by the industrial North. It was a bad system to start with. It enshrined a slavery mentality into our electoral process that we have not been able to do away with since the 1800s.
And it's kind of still,
Well, it creates,
affecting everything, right?
yeah, and it creates an inequity. Whereas, you have a state like Montana, which has a population of 500,000 people, and they have 2 electoral votes. And then you
Yeah.
have a state like New York, which has 29 million people, and we have 29 electoral votes. So every vote in Montana counts twice
Yeah.
compared to every vote in New York. It's an archaic system and it needs to go away.
And
But at this point, it's not going to go away because the agricultural states tend to be the red states, and they're not going to give up that advantage.
It's funny because like New York, when they like zoomed in, it was mostly red, and but we were blue, and
Well,
that's what I didn't understand. Long Island was fully red. I think like Manhattan
that's
and
because
parts of the upstate were blue.
any
Um,
major city where people have to live together and cooperate, well, any major city anywhere generally tends to be where people have to live in cooperation, where they're densely populated, you learn to be your brother's keeper. Whereas in agricultural areas where there's much less dense population, you tend to be much more Republican, much more, I do it on my own. Nobody's helping me. I'm not helping anybody else. That mentality is well documented in society, not just America. But when you look at all that red, all the populations in the blue centers, there's 29 million people in New York State. There's like 11 million in Manhattan.
yeah, yeah,
There's like, 500,000 in Syracuse. There's 1 million in Albany. There's 2 million in
right.
Buffalo. So those dark blue centers contain the majority of the population, and all that red is really the minority of the population. Just like when you look at Montana, you see all that red. Nobody in Montana voted for Kamala, but it's only 500,000 people.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't look at the red and say, how can that be? Because it's an illusion.
It is an illusion. And
that's what I'm saying. It's like, and we turn blue. Like, that's like all that red, but we're blue. Like, I think that was what was throwing me off too. And then, like, again, the whole electoral college, like, this is really like what the third serious election that I think I voted in. Like, and then I kept thinking of like Joey's little cousin. This is her first election she's voting in. Like, this is huge. This was a huge election for these 21-year-olds, or like I just couldn't imagine the weight on these kids.
Huge voter turnout, which
huge.
May have cost Kamala the election, but it also is a great sign for our democracy. People were invested in this election, and I may not be happy with the results, but the future will see if I'm right and or I'm wrong and you're right.
I just hope, look, as an outsider again, I just hope that it seems that the majority of America believe what he's espousing, so that when he does assume power and the wars don't end that day, and gas prices don't change straight away, that he's held to the same. But that's what he's saying. That's what he said all along. The day after I take power, the war will be over. So then he should be held to the same stringent, the same stringent, critiques that everyone else has been forever.
But it like 2 years. I think like a good 2 years to see a change.
But also, that's not what it says on the box. That's like the whole point is that this whole campaign is I will fix America, and all it's going to take for you is for you to put me in power. The day after I'll end the war. I'm that. That's how good I am.
I don't think that was his message. I really don't.
I think he has said it. The words came out of his mouth. The day after I take power, the war will be over.
Transsexual in school. Immigrants are coming in by the billions, wrecking our jobs, taking our country, and voting illegally. His message was about immigrants, trans people, and what was the third?
Look, if anything, it's going to be an education for you about how tariffs actually work. If you think your groceries are going to get, if you think your groceries are going to get cheaper,
about it 2 weeks ago.
We'll see about that. But
yeah, I understand how tariffs
we'll
work.
see. No, but this is the thing. I don't think the general public do. We get caught up on both sides. We get caught up in these big promises that people make, and then the reality of the situation, you don't look at it 2 years ago. Yeah, wait a minute. You said this, and we're here.
We're electing a chief. The actual legislation has to come out of Congress, and both sides of Congress have to approve it before it even goes to the president. The president can propose legislation to the Congress. Congress has been so fucking lame for the last 50 years, I would say, since Reagan. We have not had effective Congresses in place. They fight, they gerrymander, they argue, that, again, the filibuster, where you have to have 60% of the vote to just talk about the legislation, that's just bullshit.
That's like to hear themselves talk, really.
Yeah.
What else I heard? I heard that I can't. Like I said, we're going to give him 2 years. I'm going to give him 2 years, personally, me. But in 4 years, who's going to be next? Because he can't run again.
Who knows?
And who are they going to choose on the Democratic side? Like, it's just that's what I also what I want. I can't wait to look forward to.
That'll start to coalesce in 2 years.
But I think
the Republicans have another star like Reagan, she's like Trump. There's not
exactly
star in the ranks yet. It
Right,
could
who
show
is
up in
it,
2 years, but it's
But
not.
this will be the proving ground. This will be
Yes.
whatever happens now is going to happen
Yeah.
regardless. And I think that the people that did vote blue and that are very upset and with all right, because people put their heart and soul into
Oh yeah.
campaigning for their party. Then your job now becomes the watchdog, right? To make sure that if there is stuff that is disagreeable, like the whole trans stuff, and again, no matter what you believe, I don't think it's anyone else's business to tell you how to live your life, what gender you are, how to X, Y, and
What was
Z.
taking away from them?
Part of the Agenda 47 is to eliminate gender affirming care for trans individuals, to eliminate the right to transgender surgery completely, to ban all transgender surgeries completely, to eliminate gay marriage, to eliminate gay adoption, I
didn't hear the gay marriage thing. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's
Agenda
hidden.
47.
It's hidden.
But it's in there.
But this is the thing, we get these big talking points and you don't read the fine print, which is the problem.
That's the crux of the problem too. I think we have a very ill-informed electorate. I mean, if you only watch one news source, you only get
like
one
we
opinion.
Always say,
right.
It's like I will watch Fox. I hate when I watch Fox because I usually end up screaming at the TV. That's not right. But I screamed at Rachel Maddow too. I mean, I have. I've been watching
the whole
her
night, the election night. Yeah, I was bouncing between 4, 5, like NBC, Fox, and News Channel, like the local news too. Everybody had different numbers. I was like, you can't. I don't know who to believe here.
The messaging was so confusing because I thought she had it. I thought it was going to be a walk in the park. I thought it was like all over, and then as soon as I saw the first results, I went, oh no, this isn't going to go that way.
Yeah,
this is not the way. So it doesn't.
11:30, I had a screaming match with God.
It doesn't, like, I've got dissonance to what I saw, and then what happened. Look, again, you can't undo a screw.
The majority has spoken.
The majority has spoken. That's that's democracy for you.
Democrats have said this for years and years, and it's one of the things that I will never forgive Donald Trump for ever. The peaceful transfer of power is the hallmark of a functioning democracy. You cannot disrupt the will of the people. So the people have spoken. I need to shut up and let him do his thing.
Exactly. So all of those
I really would like to be wrong.
Safeguards that they put in place for riots and It's interesting that they didn't happen when
they didn't happen because the Democrats don't riot.
Right.
The first thing I saw, like I heard about that's not true. There was a riot in the city with the Dems when he won last time.
Oh,
not to the point where they were boarding up businesses in Washington, D.C. and they were putting up fences around the White House, and they were ready for
No, not when they were storming the White House.
Shit.
No,
right.
No. But the first thing I said on Tuesday morning to my father, I said, "You ready for the riots?" He goes, "There's not going to be any riots." I was like, "I don't know, man." And there wasn't. I was surprised. So.
Yeah, I'm pleased. I don't want our country to have riots.
No,
I certainly did see my fair share of Trumpian assholes on Facebook saying today's uniform is Glocks and Crocs. We storm the Capitol. If this doesn't go our way, it's like, guys, let's find out.
But this is the thing.
First,
the right. If you look at it this way, the right side lost because the moderation of their behavior is more acceptable than the alternative.
I do think there's definitely
maybe
people who
not
felt
to lump everyone in together, but
I don't know people that felt that way. But that's people. You know what? And I've talked about this before. I talk about it all the time. when Reagan allowed the fairness doctrine to expire in the 70s, huge conglomerations, took over the media. Part of the
Yeah.
fairness doctrine was that no one company could own so many. You were limited to how many stations you could own in a certain geographic location. One company, Sinclair Broadcast, owns like 60% of all local news stations throughout the country.
Yeah.
Sinclair Broadcast gives each of their local newscasters scripts. And somebody did a clip of it, of all these different newscasters from all around the country saying the exact same thing at the 6 o'clock news. So Sinclair Broadcast is notoriously conservative.
Yeah.
And Fox News, also notoriously conservative, has a monopoly on local cable companies throughout red states. So in red states, there's no option to get anything but conservative news.
Yeah.
And these conservative news stations are the way the majority of Americans get their
news.
They sit down for the 6 o'clock news, and then they might watch, Hannity and what's her face at 9 o'clock. I've never felt that this is an effective way to educate the American people. And most of the American people don't get newspapers anymore. They don't read newspapers. They don't read news magazines. They just get their news from TV. And it's predominantly conservative,
But we shall see. I think again, it's early days. It's literally the hangover. We're having the post-election hangover, and more will expose itself, I'm sure, as the days unfold up until Inauguration Day, which will be interesting. I wonder who's going to get to perform.
We'll see. The country's
is it like always January 20th? Is it always January 20th?
It's like the like the Roman calendar. It's like so many days after the first. It's not always January 20th. Sometimes it's January 22nd.
A lot of those celebrities might be trying to do a backpedal by then and go, oh, actually, we'll see. Especially when you've got Elon Musk funding your entire lifestyle. That's all good. Breaking news today. There has been arrests / charges made in the Liam Payne death.
What?
So One Direction, former One Direction star Liam Payne died last month, falling from a hotel balcony. There have been three people charged by the Argentinian prosecutor's office. So they're saying one was someone who was close to the singer, another was a hotel employee, and a suspected drug dealer. They were charged with supplying him with drugs. One of them was also charged with abandoning a person in a vulnerable state. The quote from the prosecutor's office: the results of the toxicological studies, which have been communicated to his family, revealed that in the moment prior to his death and over a period covering at least the last 72 hours, Payne had traces of polydrug use of alcohol, cocaine, and prescription antidepressants in his body. The autopsy said he died after sustaining multiple traumas, internal and external hemorrhaging. The prosecution said that the investigation had revealed illegal conduct.
It said conduct push.
That's all it says. It says so. The prosecution also ruled
video, security video footage
ruled out self-harm and the physical intervention of third parties. So it's not murder.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they are saying that it would be a negligence or duty of care or something like that. Payne was either not fully conscious or was in a state of markedly diminished or absent consciousness at the time of his fall. So it's I guess, a duty of care, especially for the person that worked within the hotel. I would imagine is a big one. Because he was removed from the lobby and taken back upstairs to his hotel room. and then presumably left in the care of somebody. You know,
Who? A hotel employee? What is the
I don't
hotel
know.
employee supposed to
This is
do?
all very mysterious. There's been no names named yet, so this news only came out like a couple of hours ago. So
I want to see every damn video. I want to have I want to have him from being removed from the lobby. I want to see him in the elevator. I want to see him walking to his room. I want to see
because it
him
doesn't
go
add
home
up.
from
Like it
the
doesn't
thing.
add up.
Yeah, like I need to see all of it because I'm that person. Like I don't
Accidents
anything they're
happen, but it
saying.
doesn't. If these people are being ruled liable for his death in some way,
Well, I mean, look at Matthew Perry. I mean, somebody helped him inject himself with ketamine and left him in a hot
Yep.
tub. You know?
Yeah.
yeah. Liam's
That's
body has been repatriated to England as well. His father, his body was put in the care of his father, and he arrived back home yesterday UK time. So there will be a funeral within the coming days/weeks.
Did love the picture of the fans surrounding the dad with their hands up so the paparazzi couldn't get a picture of him as he went into the hotel. That really made me tearful.
Yeah. I think it's going to be again, I don't think, because none of us were of the age to be a directioner, this is a big loss for some people, when you're celebrity, it's a big reminder of mortality, and for it to be so tragic and just so, I don't know, matter of fact, like it was an accident. It looks like it was just an accident, but for the fact that he was on the third floor, he would be still here. Like, it's crazy.
What floor was he on?
It's on the third floor.
Wait.
Yeah.
What? He didn't wait, and he died?
Yeah.
Like from the third floor? I mean, I get the third floor. I get it. But like
depends on what you hit on the way down.
Yeah, it depends on what you hit on the way down, how you land.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple of pictures that I wish I didn't see. I was like, oh god.
Can I play like devil's advocate here? Or whatever the fuck? Because now I'm curious. If I'm jumping, I'm not hitting any other balconies on the way down, right? Like
it depends on gravity.
Am I landing on?
But
right.
If you jump, the chances are you're going to land on your legs and your knees are going to buckle. You're going to see broken bones, but they're going to break.
Not hemorrhaging
from the ground up. If you pass out over the balcony, you are going in a forward motion. You probably
in your head.
See some roll. You're going to hit your head. You might smash your spleen. Spleen is an immediate source for bleeding out. Depends on how long he was laying there. I mean, there are other ways there are other injuries that are going to be sustained. You're probably going to crush the ribs, which could puncture lungs.
Puncture something. Yeah.
Right.
And just the impact itself on organs.
But then I'm thinking like dead weight, like dead weight falling from three.
Fall, exactly.
Right, exactly. So that I'm thinking like obviously that's more. Like if I'm just jumping, I'm like, oh fuck, and I'm trying to land on my legs. I obviously would sustain a shit ton of like injuries to my lower half, trying to protect my upper half. So again, I'm just thinking out loud here.
It's just it's just sad. I don't think there's any, it's just sad.
No amount of rest is going to bring this kid back.
No.
His child will be fatherless for his whole life.
Yeah.
So
he'll never create again. It's sad.
Yeah.
Totally sad.
Yeah. Oh wow, this is a bit of a bummer today, isn't it? But while we're talking depressing stories, R.I.P. Peanut.
No, I don't want to talk about this.
You don't want to talk about Peanut?
No. I don't want to talk about it. It's so upsetting.
I don't understand whose vagina got so much sand in it that they had to go after one. This is what I said to Vera. I said, I get the rabies thing, whatever. But how many squirrels are you getting bitten by? You can't identify whether that squirrel is the one that bit you and that one that might have given you rabies.
Oh, I thought they were fully cognizant that a Peanut was the one that bit him. I thought they just did. The Peanut had never been vaccinated against rabies.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if that human wasn't showing signs of rabies, do you need to destroy the animal?
Rabies. If you're showing signs of rabies, it's too late. You're going to die a painful death.
I know, but there'd be some kind. It's not like you go. It's not like you see on the TV, right? It's not like someone gets bitten by a dog.
Yeah, it is.
And you foam at the mouth straight away. That's,
no, not straight away.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not like Hollywood. There are symptoms. It's a symptomatic thing. It's an infection.
My good friend's daughter got bit by a bat, and they would not let her out of the hospital without starting the rabies series because there's no way of knowing if that bat had rabies or not. You know, Kathy's like, I can find the bat. She's like, you bring me 100 bats, and I won't be able to test them. You know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought it was a little knee jerk because the pet that it's clearly a pet. You got a picture of it in a cowboy fucking hat.
A documented pet, like
right.
for like years. There's a fucking social media account.
Wait, why did they do it? I still don't know why they killed this fucking squirrel. I just know that they killed him, and I don't know why.
Some environmental protection officers showed up and felt that they did not have the correct permits or training to have these wild animals as domesticated pets. So they attempted to seize the pets, and Peanut bit the EPA officer. And then they euthanized Peanut because of the bite.
Because that's the way you test for rabies.
It happened here at Auburn. There's a gentleman who has a pet duck. His name is Paco.
Paco the duck.
Paco went missing. There were signs everywhere. There was a reward for Paco, you know, and there were pictures of their dog in the yard, you know. Andy misses Paco. Help us find Paco. And like 2 weeks later, it turned out that an EPA officer had driven by the house, saw the dog and the duck together, thought he was rescuing the duck, put him into an animal shelter and took Paco away. And they didn't know until they saw the story on the news that Paco was a domesticated duck.
I just don't understand, like, again, like, I get he got bit, whatever, right? Like, but like you said, like, it's somebody's pet. It's one fucking squirrel. What was any harm being done? Like, and Two-Turn Tony on fucking TikTok, everybody knows him. He has a duck, baby girl. Like, who would go and take his duck? Like, why take a squirrel? They did it to this guy's raccoon too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. And this little squirrel is at this window, just like pushing on the screen. And I saw that video tonight. My son was doing the same thing when I came home, just pushing on the front screen of the window. Like,
Peanut.
How could you just do that? Oh my God. A little innocent squirrel.
I don't know.
Not harming anything. Like, that's it.
Like,
take him up.
Like, what fucking Karen is it? Like,
Could you imagine being the vet that killed this fucking squirrel? Could you imagine being forced to kill this fucking squirrel because you're
then dissect its brain?
Well, if he didn't left the squirrel alone, he probably wouldn't have gotten bit.
Yeah.
Right. Why are you even there? Leave us alone. What the fuck? Like, oh my God.
The upside of all of this, if you want to do a little bit of research, she's gone dark. She's going dark for Peanut. I did see a bit of a internet artwork with Harambe holding the raccoon. I was like, oh no! But the upside of it all, if you want to do a little bit of research, the Squirrel Daddy has his own OnlyFans.
Oh, really?
I don't want to research that.
You might want it because there's nuts there, I tell you, my friend.
Oh no, he's very good looking. I saw again. I was looking at videos today. Like,
very gifted, very talented. I did show Jeffrey.
Does he include the squirrel in his OnlyFans?
No, that'd be bestiality. That'd be bestiality, and I don't think we're ready to cross that.
Euthanized.
No, he didn't want to get euthanized. Not that OnlyFans moolah, but good
Yeah,
for you,
no.
sir. Good for you, sir. That's all I'm gonna say. This next story, we always have little viral moments. We've had 2 this week, and I haven't told you guys about them.
I think
Have
I've
you?
seen it. Somebody shared one of our posts like 79 times or something
Yep.
like that.
79 times?
One of
Yeah.
them is this story. Come
Is
on.
it the Dexter one? Oh no, this one. Oh yeah.
One
Oh,
of
yeah.
them is about Jason Kelsey. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the video of Jason Kelsey smashing a fair. Well, they're saying fair, but come on,
I think
Those
it's
it's
are
not the way a
fair.
fan of somebody actually,
right.
reacts.
Mhm.
After
You may have
he
been a fan of Pitt,
was
the football team.
harassing him about his brother and Taylor Swift's relationship, using a derogatory slur. Um, To which, Jason repeated and offered a bit of an apology for. I the beauty of the modern era, we are slaves to social media, but it also lets you get the full picture of a story quite rapidly when everyone has a phone and there are multiple
Did you find the
angles.
video? I need to see the video.
There,
Find the video.
I wish I
The
was
video
being.
that I saw was not the kid
I would
trolling. It was
no.
another kid that was like several feet back in the crowd, and the kid was behind Jason, trying to get Jason to look at the camera. Can you tell me? Can you tell me how it feels to have your brother be this? That your brother's dating this girl? He's just and he
Yeah,
used that slur again. And Jason finally stopped,
had
grabbed the
enough.
phone, and threw it to the
Threw it on
ground.
the ground.
And then he used the slur back to the kid.
All right, here it
What
is. I can
slur?
say it. I can say it because it's me. This kid. I'm not even gonna say guy because this is such a juvenile fucking act.
It is a
I want
juvenile,
to
but he is
tell
an
me.
adult if he's in
Tell
college.
me how. Tell me how a man dating a woman makes him a faggot.
I think he was just looking for a viral moment to put up
Such
on
a
his.
2000 word,
I know.
like a year
And this
2000.
is
Like,
the
come on.
thing. If you as a straight person are using that word, it tells me everything I need to know. In a venomous
Yeah.
way, it tells me everything I need to know about you. And I am going to agree with the majority of people. I'm not offended by that
I'm
word.
not offended by it,
I'm not
but
offended by that word. I've been called that word the majority of my life. Yeah.
I.
Um, in our culture,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those words where if you take back the power out of the word, it can't hurt you. But to use words as a weapon to insinuate that just because Travis Kelsey is with a very successful, powerful woman, that makes him less of a man. So that
Yeah.
automatically makes him a faggot, which makes him less than, is a big fucking issue. A huge fucking issue. And that tells, as I said, that tells me everything I need to know about you. And that kid is lucky that all he lost was the phone.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know
Yeah.
what? I thought that Jason's apology was classy as hell. I thought that
Yes.
and then there's somebody else who was in the crowd who said the kid tripped him
Yeah.
before he grabbed the phone.
And this
And
is the thing.
I didn't see that in the video clip that I saw. That was
In
taken
what
by the
world
other kid.
do we think it's okay to physically and verbally harass anyone, let alone it being
Right?
a celebrity? Just stay away. Like,
And
What
everyone's
do you
so
think is going to
entitled.
happen?
I'll bet you $10 that if he
And
was calling Jason that word, Jason would have ignored him. But
yeah,
he was attacking his brother, and that brought up that protective instinct.
yeah.
But it happened
It was a college football game,
it was
wasn't
a
it?
pit
Yeah.
game on Saturday. That's when collegiate games are played. And Jason was there for a contest. He was I don't know whether he was judging the contest or calling the contest. It was a punting contest for people kicking the ball. He might have been a participant. I don't remember. But
But the
I
fact that
want
just
too
because
many
he's there
lines.
doesn't mean he's open to harassment. Like
Right.
we have the like.
What do you think is going to happen? You keep pushing somebody's buttons,
Yeah, you push
and
someone's.
what do you think? They're just going to walk away? Like he's a
Yeah.
football player.
Right.
He's like
Right.
he's got
He
anger
showed
in him. You can't just be
great
like,
restraint
he's
in
not
just
gonna do
smashing
it.
a phone. Is all
He
I'm
did
saying.
show
Yeah.
great restraint.
Yeah,
Great
like,
restraint
you're
in
really
just.
lucky.
Profusely for using the slur back. That
Yeah.
was part of his apology.
A lot of
he should not have used that word, even no matter how angry
Right.
he got.
And it's very interesting. If you go through the comment section on the article is very interesting. Because not to tie it in with the elections, but there's one. There is one commenter on there. I'm not going to name the name because that's giving it more attention than it needs. But every insult that this person issues, they've started out so they can still get their point across. You know, they're not going to get it. They're not going to get a strike. They're not going to get a ban. But you're a fucking Democrat, faggot, blah 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 blah. It's like, okay.
That man, bro,
Really?
dude, bro, kind of mentality
Yeah.
is part of that Trump
Toxic,
culture,
masculine, small dick, can't make your wife come energy.
Yeah.
It's just like, just makes my skin crawl. But good on you, Jason, I say.
I'd say good on you.
Smash away. Smash away.
Yeah.
Now,
and I didn't think he owed the kid an apology, but I thought it
No,
was a
oh God,
classy
no.
apology.
Speaking of viral moments, who the fuck knew that people cared this much about Dexter? Because my phone will not stop going off about this article. We must have been like I must have been one of the only people to post about it because it will not stop. People are tagging people. Look, it's great for our visibility, and I love it. And if you're watching the show because of it, welcome.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that so many people love Dexter. It's like I look at it, it's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. There's more and more and more and more
and
more.
all of this blew up like within hours of you saying, "Hey, we need more interaction on our
We need more interaction. Yeah, it's always the way. Like, we need more interaction. We need more engagement. I post a random something and it goes
my
off.
phone was blown up. Oh, I was like, what the fuck?
But yeah,
all these
and it's
I was like, I don't know how to turn off the notifications for like the show's page.
Yeah.
So like I always get them.
Welcome to my world.
What article is this? Like, what was happening? Like, and I'm like, okay, like it's
like
I have everything else silent, so I don't get a ding or I don't get it. You know, it's like if I
my phone's on silent.
Yeah,
but the notification, like the Facebook thing, is still there.
You can go in and turn that off.
I don't know.
Me, I did it with Matt. I had to do it with Matt Rife because my phone wouldn't stop.
Oh, Matt Rife, man.
But I had my phone was overheating. That's how many we were getting that many reactions. It wouldn't stop vibrating. I'm like, I have to turn this off. I have to turn it off. I have to disable the comments for a while. That Matt Rife article, my God, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It's always the ones you never expect that make the impact. A little bit more bad. Quincy Jones, R.I.P. 91. My God, but it's a good, it's a big life too. Legacy. But there is good news. Margot Robbie has given birth to her first child. I still don't know the name, but there's a Barbie baby. We like that. And
how old is Margot?
She'd be.
Is she a geriatric
I would
mom?
imagine.
Huh?
No, I don't think so. She's not that old. I think she's early 30s.
Okay.
Yep. And this one's gained a little bit of excitement too. The Wayans brothers are returning to Scary Movie. So all three of them. So there's hope. There's hope for another Scary Movie reboot. I just read an article with Regina Hill saying that she would gladly go back and play Brenda again, and Anna Faris is keen to go back as well. So we might get some original magic back in the
That would be amazing.
Those first two movies are hilarious. Very much of their time, and there is some troubling, not troubling, but I guess controversial humor. But it is a document of the time that we lived in, and it's still very funny. It's still
taking movies out of their time period.
Everything
can
was
be
so
very
funny. What do you
troubling.
mean? What was controversial?
Look, I just think that with glance through the eyes of today, there are a lot of movies that are problematic because of their portrayal of certain characters.
The bedroom scene
there's
was
a-
Stereotypes, no, just like racial stereotypes, and like
But
people
Aw.
get their ass hairs in the knot.
Oh my God! This is what this.
Yeah.
characterizations of
Go
domestic
suck on your mom's
violence,
tit and go to
that
fucking
kind of
sleep.
stuff.
Like I can't. It's
Okay.
so fucking annoying. Nobody can be creative anymore. Or funny. Like nobody can take anything. It's just funny to be funny. It's like I have to be offended. It's just so aggravating.
But it's like
This
there's
movie was
always
hilarious.
something behind everything people put into the media. Shawn Mendes.
Yeah, poor Sean.
Shawn Mendes, who didn't want to be famous a little while back and went away and cancelled his world tour for his mental health and all that kind of stuff, is back again on stage declaring who knows. Declaring who knows, because one of the most constant stories that floats around Shawn is that of his sexuality, which is, of course, nobody's business at all. But
Right? Oh my God.
he references it quite a lot. And I have a little bit of an issue with the fact the timing of it all. So this is what he said on stage. He performed a new song called "The Mountain," which has the lyrics: "Someday I have a change of heart. You can say what you need to say. You can say that I'm too young. You can say that I'm too old. You can say that I like girls or boys, whatever fits your mold." To preface the song, he said, "Since I was really young, there's been this thing about my sexuality, and people have been talking about it for so long. It's kind of silly because I think sexuality is such a beautifully complex thing, and it's so hard to just put into boxes. I was figuring it out in myself, something that I have yet to discover and still have yet to discover. I don't really know sometimes, and I know other times, and it feels scary because we live in a society that has a lot to say about that. I'm trying to be really brave and just allow myself to be human and feel things. And that's really what I want to say about that for now." So I want to say something. I want to imply something, maybe, but I'm not going to come out and say it just in case it's badly received when my album comes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you in the hook.
Are we going to be missing?
But that's what it smells like to me. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not well versed in Shawn Mendes, but
Me either.
it came off to me as a sincere questioning of his own sexuality that he can't give you an answer because he doesn't know.
But why
yet.
does anyone need one?
I don't know. Why
First of all, why pander to other people's expectations of what you should do with your life?
Right.
But also, why do it 2 weeks out? Why do it 2 weeks out from your comeback album?
There are people that are willing to badger you into coming out. That happened to that Heartstopper kid, Kit Connor.
Yeah, but no one like that. At the end of the day, it's his decision whether to reference it, whether to not. And the newspapers. Hello. Well, we are going back in time. The newspapers, they can say whatever they want if it's not true.
We're all about it.
Put me through a club like 5, Muriel. Sure, I love it. I just think that I don't know. It's such a double-edged sword. If you don't want to talk about it, then you shouldn't talk about it. If you don't want people to talk about it, it's feeding the beast. Don't feed the beast.
But like you said, it's all about we don't have any beasts.
And it's also very convenient that it's 2 weeks away from my comeback album coming out. That I'm gonna, as I said, I'm waiting for the next shirtless photo shoot or underwear photo shoot where it's like, oh, my body, like people criticizing. We talked about a couple of weeks ago criticizing Benson Boone for walking around in fucking his
Right,
undies
the speedos.
Benson
Yeah.
Boone
and
can walk
selling.
around his undies.
I know he
anytime
can
wants.
walk around my face.
Did you see the naked cowboy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. Yeah.
You
naked
did?
cow.
No.
No, he's not. I haven't seen. Is the naked cowboy a thing anymore? I haven't seen him
He
around. He's
wasn't
alive.
in Times Square when we were there.
That's
Ah,
upsetting.
Sorry.
It's been
that's
a while since
upsetting.
I've seen the naked cowboy. You see a good time. I tell
Well, he's
you
got
what,
to be in
though,
his 40s by now, for Christ's sake.
there'd be a
Naked
there'd be a
cowboy.
next. There'd have to be a next generation naked cowboy. Come on. I
Well,
tell
they
you
have a
what is funny
naked
though.
cowgirl
Those
too.
those fucking ratty
Let me
animal
tell you,
suits.
when I was in Manhattan this summer, there was a couple of girls who were wearing painted, just body paint. They were pretty
Yeah.
close to naked.
Jesus Christ.
Ah, well, it happens. Hey, and
I
if
mean,
you have the body beautiful or you think your body's beautiful, that is up to you. You can
absolutely.
do whatever you want with it. I wouldn't do it, but if I had a body like
Mhm.
Benson Boone's, I'd be naked every 5 seconds.
Oh,
You couldn't
absolutely.
keep clothes on me. I'd be like, yes,
No.
look at it. And you know what? Everyone can just blow it out their ass. That's how I would feel about it.
Here I am.
Speaking of
just being
things that
broke.
blow, Vera,
Yeah.
I'm sure, has something simmering for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Vera then. Okay, V, here we go. 3, 2, 1, Vent.
Well, it is a little bit about the election, but it's kind of not. I did say a lot about the election already. One of the topics that came up in, every single newsman ran out of the car to get the exit polls. Tell me, what was your major issue? Why did you vote for how you voted? A lot of people said the economy, but a lot of people said they didn't like the socialist programs of the Democrats. And I get that. I mean, it's hard to think that your money's being wasted. I know that the conservative media makes it sound like we're funding billions and billions of degrees in women's studies and we're giving food stamps to people who are buying lobster tails. Although all that's not has been proven to be a lie, the thing that we're missing is since the 70s, this is the era that I came of age at, you know, since the 70s, in the era of Ronald Reagan, when they restructured the tax code, we give billions in socialist programs to corporate America. If you want to look at the $17 million in SNAP, or 17 billion, it might be 17 billion, I'm sorry, and say that's a waste of my money because I once saw somebody on food stamps buy a lobster tail. Without any context, without knowing if that lobster tail was going to go into a lobster rice casserole and feed 10 people. Just they saw a lobster tail in that basket and that's my tax dollars going to waste. Not looking at the fact that the majority of people on food stamps are American military families, because as they shifted all the money into protecting us and buying ammunition that made, millionaires out of the Cheneys, they also stopped funding programs like officer housing and officer family support. But those are all socialist programs that had to go so that they could give socialist programs to corporations. Dick Cheney and Halliburton have received billions. General Electric has received billions. These are research and development grants that never are paid back, and yet every single company that's used these R&D funds has been able to make a profit without paying any of the research and development funds or development grants back. They are out there making pharmaceutical drugs that they are charging $700 a shot for, or the latest one that I saw was $1,800 an injection for a monthly injection. That was funded, the research and development for that injection was funded by us, the taxpayer. That's way more than the fucking $10 a month that the average food stamp recipient gets. And if you get more than $10 a month, you're feeding a family of 5 or 6. You know, I've spent a lot of time in care management. I know that nobody's getting rich on food stamps. But you know who is getting rich? Elon Musk. Do you know how much research and development money he got for the Starlink program that he runs? $900 million. That was for the research and development. And now he's under government contract. He never has to pay that $900 million back. And he is making millions off of our federal government for a project that we funded because we had to get it off the social programming. It couldn't be paid for we had to privatize that because privatization is far more efficient. It's not efficient if we're paying them for each year that we use it after having paid them for research and development. This is bullshit. This is corporate socialism, and you should be more outraged over this hundreds of billions of dollars that we pay to corporations who continue to make money off the American people after we funded their research and development projects, after we funded their expansion projects, after we paid to put up new manufacturing plants for them. This is bullshit. If you're mad about socialism and you're not mad about corporate welfare, you're not paying attention.
Boom. So, I think the message of today's show, we've been peaceful. It's been passive. It's been, it's literally the title. Here we go again. Beginning of another.
Fingers crossed that I'm wrong.
I think
That's all
that we
I have to say.
Buckle down, get ready. It's going to be a long ride. I guess this means, if your team didn't win, you become the watchdog. You become, the moderator of that behavior that we hopefully don't see. And it comes down to shows like us to keep putting forward different points of view. So I guess this means we have to do this for at least another 4 years.
Well, hopefully.
Oh my god, I'm breaking out the collagen eye patches. It's time to get some rest and relaxation.
Get on the TikTok shop and buy mine.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is only just beginning, and we will be here to point out the absurdity of this modern day life that we live in. Thank you for joining us today. The lovely Christina, the always vivacious Vera. I've been Steve, and we will be back, always here and ready to poke fun at ourselves and the world around us. Until next week, a bit of a classic. Since we're throwing it back, we've got to go for a classic, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jeff, we miss you. We'll see you soon. Guys, have a lovely week. See you next week for UCI Live. Bye.
Bye.